Hello, thanks for joining me. Welcome to this next flip preaching video. This is Advent number 3 and we're looking at Matthew 11 to 11. Last week we looked a little bit at one of the aspects of John the Baptist in his early phase before Jesus went public with his ministry, and now we hear the last bit of John the Baptist. John the Baptist is now in prison. Herod imprisoned him for reasons that we hear about in a different gospel, and it's a bit bizarre really, because John the Baptist in prison sends his own disciples out, and that's a bit odd that John the Baptist kept his own set of disciples even when Jesus was out and working. Anyway, he sent his disciples to find out whether Jesus is actually the one he thought he was, and whether there's someone else, whether there be someone better, a better Messiah. It's a bit strange. That's in Matthew 11 verse 3. People have wondered what that passage has meant for a long time. Did John the Baptist have second thoughts? Did he have doubts? Wasn't he convinced? Maybe he was saying it for a reason. Maybe he did know, but he was trying to, I don't know, maybe he was trying to get Jesus to admit to something, to prove a point. But it's a bit of a strange passage. But his John the Baptist disciples do go to Jesus, find him, and they have a conversation, and Jesus sends them back saying, tell John the Baptist what you hear and see. And he lists 6 things which are a kind of recap of what's happened before in the book of Mark. Before this, in chapters 8 and 9, there's the series of miracle stories, and this is like a best of all of those. He says the blind receive sight, the lame walk, the lepers are cleansed, the deaf hear, the dead are raised, and the poor hear good news. This is like a snapshot of what Jesus was up to. Of course he's the Messiah. No one else can bring that amount of goodness and change in people's lives. And I wonder whether John the Baptist heard that news back and thought, okay, that's fine. Jesus is the one I thought he would be. But we have to remember that this is really good news for us today and for people out there. There are people trapped in all kinds of situations which keep them down. You and I are trapped in all kinds of situations that keep us down. And Jesus comes and he sets us free. Jesus is the liberator. He redeems us from whichever situation we are in. Now, unfortunately, that doesn't always work in this case. So if someone is blind, they don't necessarily end up being able to physically see. But they will, because God will restore them and bring everything to completeness. This is a foretaste, a little glimpse of what God will do, of what the kingdom will be in the future. And it may happen now. It may be that we can, either through natural medical ways, we can affect this kind of healing. Maybe a supernatural miracle now, but we know that in the future this is the way it will be. There will be no blindness, so we'll see God and we'll see everything. No deafness, no lameness, no leprosy, no diseases. There won't be poor people. It will be a place of harmony. And this is the good news that we announce in this Advent season, that we wait for to come in completion. I wonder what you make of this passage. I'd love to hear what you think. Please comment below. See you next week for the Christmas story. Okay, bye-bye.